Okay, hello, my name is Alina de Jesus, and we'll be going through my lesson plan, which is titled Roots Around the World. So we have everything kind of listed here. Let's go step by step. So for instructional delivery, we have a Canva presentation that we'll talk through, and then later on, the engagement for the students is they'll be using Padlet, which we have here, and then finally, to close us off, we'll have the assessment, which will be a rubric that we'll go through at the end. So we have the objective, which is to explore gardens around the world that reflect different cultural traditions and plants. So let's go ahead and just go, and we have the teaks listed here as well. So let's go into the presentation. So roots around the world, and of course here again we have our objective, and then we'll go straight into it. We talk about what a cultural garden is. And then will talk about the project briefly. In our project, you will create your own cultural garden presentation about a country you've been assigned. And then for the next slide, your cultural garden project. For this project, you will research one country and its important plants and flowers, and then create a Padlet with multiple slides. So here we have the slides listed. It doesn't have to be in this order at all, as long as each slide is there. So we'll have information about your assigned country, a collage of pictures showing the plants/flowers, facts about each plant and flower based on your research. So we'll talk about the research as well. And then something that listed at the end here is something that you can look for. So you can look for plants that are used in traditional foods, important in celebrations or ceremonies, native to the region, etc. And then we'll go into famous cultural gardens, and here are listed just a couple of examples. For example, Japanese gardens, English gardens, Mexican gardens, Chinese gardens, and Indian gardens. So this is kind of to give the students an idea of like examples that they can choose from. And then we'll go into researching tips. So this is how kind of technology ties into all of this. They'll be using research. So these are just a couple of things they can look for. So the national flower in your country, plants used in traditional cooking, plants that grow naturally in your country's climate, and so on and so forth. And then we'll go to helpful resources. So of course, library books, kid-friendly websites, and asking your teacher. And you also want to make sure you look for photos that clearly show what your plants look like, and remember to write this information down when we're using Padlet. So then we'll go into that. And I'll open it in the site so that we can see a clearer version of it. Okay, so here on Padlet, you'll have your country as the base, and then you'll have 6 plants or flowers that are kind of native to that country. And then you also want to include in this slide a little bit about your country as well. And then for each of the 6 plants or flowers that you choose, you want to create a slide that includes a photo, a description, and the name of the plant or flower. And then you'll do that for each 6 of the plants. And then you want to do again for each of the 6, you want to do a little mood board / collage. So the photos we want to see here are photos of them used in the culture. Artistic photos are acceptable as well. Art that depicts the plants will work as well. This is just kind of for us to get a visual representation of it. And then we'll move on to the final section of this, which will be the rubric. So of course for fourth grade is what the rubric is kind of created for. So we'll go through content accuracy, mood board creativity, informative writing, and organization of presentation. And these are listed as excellent, proficient, and developing or beginning. So this will be our assessment of basically the Padlet that they will be creating. And that is it for my lesson. Thank you.